The platform is not busy. It never is at this hour when day loosens its belt and night buttons a cardigan. Lamps stand at measured intervals, wearing small halos. A sign reads dusk, though the letters look as if they were written by a hand that didn't want to wake anybody. The benches keep their creaks to themselves. The clock decides it can tick later. You arrive with nothing to prove and very little to carry. In your pocket is a ticket the color of early pears, printed with a single word, gentle. You didn't buy it. It was given by the evening itself, slipped into your hand when you washed your face and found the water warm. A hum begins low under your feet, like a cat remembering how to purr. The rails gather themselves into a line that knows where to go. Beyond the far fence, grass leans in the direction of sleep. Somewhere a gate closes with the courtesy of a librarian shushing only the air. The engine glides into view, not loud, not proud, simply present. Its paint is a deep blue brushed with the kind of silver you see on still water when the moon forgets to be bright. Windows glow, not with bulbs, but with the idea of welcome. On the side, in quiet lettering, the night train of gentle miles. A conductor steps down. His cap is soft at the edges. His coat remembers many evenings. His badge doesn't say name, it says kindness. He lifts 2 fingers in a small greeting that weighs almost nothing. Ticket, if you please, he says the way someone might say breathe in. You offer the pear-colored slip. He doesn't tear it. He just looks and nods, as if the ticket looked back and nodded too. You're right on time, he adds. We always are. He gestures toward the first doorway. Pillow car. Inside, the world exhales. Seats are wide, with corners rounded like the thoughts of a good friend. The cushions accept your weight as if they have been expecting you, practicing the shape of you all day. Curtains hold the night at the edges without shutting it out. The carriage sways in a rhythm that has less to do with movement and more to do with permission. Across the aisle, a couple speaks in the language of held hands. A grandmother knits a scarf the color of calm. A boy rests his forehead against the window and counts the passing fence posts the way you count sheep when you mean to stop before you finish. A porter moves through with a basket of extra pillows, asking quietly if any neck would like more softness. The train whispers forward. The platform falls away, not lost, just further back on the shelf of now. Fields slide past, their grass is combed by a wind that never tangles. A small river learns the trick of moonlight and teaches it to stones. Farmhouses yawn in their sleep. Dogs remember they are guardians and then remember they can be tired too. You let your shoulders lower a floor. The cushion asks your back a kind question and waits for the answer without interrupting. The glass shows a version of you with heavier eyelids, the kind of eyelids that knew they would be heavy the moment breakfast ended. If there was a list today, it is folded in the pocket of the night and the pocket is sewn shut. The conductor returns, not to check anything, just to be checked by your eyes and found reassuring. Stops tonight, he murmurs, consulting a small card. Whisper Lane, Small Harbor, Lantern Meadow, Quiet Bridge, and at last, Soft City, Platform of Pillows. He tucks the card away. Each stop is slower than the one before. He pauses, as if measuring your breath. People sometimes ask how fast we go, he says. But we don't go fast. We go enough. He pats the door frame like you'd pat a horse. First stop in 8 soft minutes. Outside, hedges become lines of punctuation. Trees become tall commas. Between them, fields lie open like pages that have already been read and liked. A barn light snuffs itself with a satisfied little sound. A fox sits down exactly where night left a chair for it. The wheels find their pace. Hush hush, hush hush. It is a sentence the rails learned long ago. No edges here. At Whisper Lane the train slows until slowing and stopping can hardly be told apart. The platform is short, no announcements, no hurry. A few passengers get off with the unremarkable grace of people who have already arrived. No one gets on. The doors close like lips finishing a lullaby. The porter offers you a small, warm sachet that smells faintly of fresh bread and clean linen. For your hands, she says. Your hands say thank you by relaxing. The train moves again. You think of doorways. You think of bed corners that know your knees. You think of nothing at all. The windows show a thin slice of moon traveling at exactly your speed. You and the moon agree not to talk about it. The carriage lights dim one notch. The conductor nods to someone who has already fallen asleep and to someone who will, and to you, who are drifting between. Teacup Car is next, he says. But you can stay here if you like. Or go there and return. We are not in the business of only. He lifts a small lever and a gentle chime rings. One clear note that finds your breath and matches it, as if the carriage wished to exhale with you at the same time. The note lingers, then chooses a place to rest. Outside, an orchard passes, trees standing like neighbors who have learned to be quiet together. Beyond them, a pond holds the moon as a mother holds a tired child, closer than close and not asking for anything in return. You close your eyes without deciding. The train keeps watch. Even the wheels, which must turn as if they could do it more quietly if you needed. They probably could. This is a train that looks for reasons to be kind. When you open your eyes again, it's because the conductor is near, not to wake you, but to offer an arm if you'd like to stroll. Teacup Car, he says, and the words have steam above them. You stand without losing the indentation you left behind. It will be waiting. The aisle is a small river of carpet. The doorway opens as if someone thought of it and then it happened. Inside the teacup car, cups breathe. And you breathe with them. The teacup car is warm in the exact way a kitchen is warm when no one is trying. Lamps glow like low moons. Tables are small circles that ask for nothing complicated. A shelf holds teapots with polite curves, each labeled with a word you recognize from better days. Clover, lavender, oat straw, chamomile, evening. Steam does not rise but loiters, as if it has remembered something pleasant and is reluctant to go. A kettle hums where it sits, content to be useful. There is a sound like rain somewhere far inside the carriage, though no rain is falling. Perhaps it is only the sound of heat learning to be gentle. The attendant is a person whose hands know how to pour without spilling. They place a pot on your table, then a cup, then their palm beside the cup as if to ask whether you would like your breath to slow before the sip or after. You choose both by doing nothing at all. Evening blend, they say. Comfortably quiet. The cup is thin enough to be elegant and thick enough to be kind. You lift it and the rim meets your mouth in a handshake that respects your wish to say nothing. The taste is not a taste so much as an agreement between your day and your night. We'll talk later. We'll talk never. It's fine either way. The window shows fields now softer, hedgerows that remember birds and let them sleep, a single farmhouse window left on by a forgetful lamp that will flick itself off after the next yawn. Far beneath the floor, the wheels speak the old refrain, hush hush, hush hush. At the next table, a traveler writes a letter that begins Dear Tomorrow, and then stops, realizing that tomorrow will read it even if there are no words. They fold the empty page with care and tuck it into an envelope that already knows its address. A small bell rings once near the service end. It is the sound of water deciding it has boiled enough. The attendant pours for a couple whispering about nothing at all, for the grandmother who is no longer knitting but is counting breaths instead, for the boy now asleep with his cheek on crossed arms. A constellation of freckles rising and falling like a slow tide. The conductor steps through, not to hurry anyone, but to collect the cups that are ready to rest. He looks at you and at your cup and at your eyelids, which have learned a heavier grammar. Lantern car, he says, is ahead when you're willing. There is a window that teaches the sky how to be calm. You make it sound like a classroom, you murmur. It is, he says. But the lesson is recess. A man with a suitcase that seems too empty to be a burden stands, thanks the attendant, and leaves his case under the table. He will return for it, or perhaps he won't. On this train, you can forget what you no longer need, and someone will become its keeper without minding. You hold the cup with both hands. The heat speaks to your fingers and your fingers understand. Your shoulders listen and lower again. If there was an ache behind your eyes, it now has somewhere to lie down, and it does. If there was a list in your head, it becomes a row of chairs on a porch at sunset, and each item takes a seat and goes quiet and looks at the sky. The attendant brings a small plate with a shortbread moon. For later, they say, which could mean any time, including never. The cookie rests near your hand, buttery and shy. You decide you are the sort of person who will save a cookie and feel good about saving it. The carriage door opens and closes with a particular hush of wood that has learned to fit wood. You look through and see it, a narrow corridor, then a widening light, then the lantern car. You go. The lantern car is cool in a way that isn't cold. Its windows are larger, not to amaze, but to loosen the knot between you and distance. Lanterns hang from the ceiling, each with a different filament, spiral, ladder, tiny star. They glow on low, as though they are breathing in and out at your pace. The far window is the one the conductor meant. It is a single pane stretching from near the floor to near the ceiling, showing the night that has smoothed its own hair. The sky is a dark lake and the stars are patient swimmers. The moon rides a soft current, a coin in a pocket that the pocket forgot but is glad to find. A plaque beneath the window reads rest area in small letters that don't need to be bigger. Beneath it, a cushion that fits your back perfectly even though it has never met your back before. You sit and the cushion sighs as if it has been holding its breath for you. You sigh back, and the exchange feels ceremonial. The conductor stands at a respectful distance, as if guarding a quiet museum exhibit. He speaks softly, but the words arrive as if they were printed on the air. Lantern Meadows soon. It is not a station. It is a passing. People like to watch it with their eyes half closed. What is it? You ask, and the question does not disturb anything. A field of lamps, he says, seen from the rails. Some are hung on posts, some on bent iron, some held up by hands that know how to hold light without gripping. Why are they lit? To practice, he says. So that we will all be ready for mornings when we must be gentle with each other. The train glides. The window obliges and becomes a moving painting. At first there is only a darkness so soft it might be velvet. Then a glow gathers at the edges, then another nearer, and then a scattering. Lamps in a field, as promised. None brighter than a promise kept. They do not blink. They do not ask attention. They simply stand. The sight folds a crease in your chest and smooths it at the same time. Your breath chooses the longer road out. The shortbread moon remains untouched and entirely sure of itself. The cup is warm again, even though you are certain you put it down empty. Someone must have filled it without noise. You lift it and find it is only warm from your hands. The illusion is kind. You let it be true. The conductor tips his cap to you and to the window and to the lamps in the field. Quiet bridge ahead, he says. You can hear the river beneath it deciding not to hurry. Do bridges decide? You ask, smiling without any need to show teeth. They decide to stay, he says. It's enough. The train eases. The wheels offer their old refrain in a softer key. Through the window, you watch your own reflection become part of the night and find that you don't mind at all. You close your eyes. When you open them, the train is leaving the bridge and carrying you toward a wetter hush, one with small waves you cannot see and do not need to. Someone has placed a folded blanket beside you. It is the weight of yes. You take it. You breathe. You're carried. Lantern Meadow slides past as a whisper would if a whisper had fields to cross. Lamps stand among the grasses like tall flowers that chose light instead of petals. Some are on hooks, some on crooked posts, some cradled in open hands where people linger with shoulders set at half-mast, the posture of those not trying to be taller than they are. The lamps glow even in the places where no one is watching, because being seen is not why they are lit. Your eyes drift downward, not to sleep yet but to the place one step above it. The blanket finds your knees and remembers your shape from an hour that has not happened yet. The conductor passes, leaves a glass of water on the sill, and returns to the door he came from without becoming a character in the scene. He is very good at that. There is a bell here, different from the one that announced tea. It is quieter. It does not ring so much as exist. With it, the wheels change their sentence. Hush, rest, hush, rest. The dash is long and invites your lungs to follow. A family gets up not to depart but to drift to the next carriage. The grandmother smooths the hair of a child already sleeping and then smooths the space above the hair, as if the air might also need comfort. You stand only to sit again one carriage over, called by a sign that says Cloud Car in letters that have learned softness from chalk. Inside, the floor is not carpet but something that gives a little, the way a cloud might if it practiced being a floor for a very long time. The benches have high sides, as if privacy were a blanket drawn up just below the chin. Overhead, panels show a sky you can adjust. A few stars, an imagined breeze, a crescent moon that knows how crescent it should be. You choose the bench with a view of a window that looks like a painting of a window. The world outside is real but behaves as if it understands you prefer it slightly less real for now. Trees blur into one another's arms. The fields forget their fences. The pond keeps the moon for itself and nobody argues. In the cloud car, there is a quiet attendant whose job is to carry silence and place it where it is needed. They settle it on the table near a couple, between two seats where a small argument might have been, onto the lap of a man who doesn't know yet that he is safe. When the attendant passes you, they set a little silence on your shoulder. It is the right size. You didn't know you were missing it, now you don't want to be without it. You try the window lever and it tilts the sky panel to include 2 more stars. The stars are the size of the kindness you can afford tonight. That is exactly right. The rails lift to meet a gentle hill. You feel it only because the sway becomes a lull. If there is a book in your bag, it is very happy to remain unread, the mark tucked in at the last place where a character finally found the word home. If there is a song you meant to hear, it has already been playing, you realize, in the rhythm of the wheels and the soft order of the lamps. A station approaches, small harbor, no sea, just a widened river cupping a town that never learned to be loud. The platform is lit by lamps that have been practicing, and they pass their test without anyone judging. 2 people step off together and remember to hold each other's sleeves. The doors close with a comma. When the train moves again, The cloud car lowers its hum until even the hum seems to sleep. You lean into the bench and it leans back, two people standing on a porch in conversation without words. The attendant returns with a tray of water in small cups and a bowl of pears. You take neither and feel nourished anyway. A curtain draws itself across part of the window. The moon shifts a little to be where you can see it without needing to lift your head. The night beyond shows a line of poplars, then a meadow, then a farmhouse sleeping like a great animal with good dreams. Everything is arranged like this on purpose, though no one arranged it. That is the lesson the lantern car promised. Calm doesn't need a reason. You breathe, in through the nose, out through the mouth. The out-breath has room. The in-breath arrives smiling. The conductor pauses by your bench and, seeing your eyes at half-mast, speaks in half-sentences. Quiet bridge again soon. Then, soft city. He nods as if he can smell the laundry of that place, the just-dried sheets, the sunlight folded into cotton. You will like the station. He moves on, collecting finished yawns and placing them where tired people can find them. You almost laugh at the picture of a basket of yawns being shared like rolls of bread at a table. The laugh doesn't reach your mouth. It rolls around in your chest and becomes an exhale. Someone farther down the carriage opens a book of photographs and shows their companion a picture of a lighthouse that does not instruct ships but simply checks on the sky. Another points out a blank page and says, "My favorite," and the other nods as if this is the most reasonable thing they have ever heard. The rails even out. The wheels and your pulse agree to line up. The blanket, you discover, has a sewn-in edge you can touch with your thumb, and your thumb is grateful for something that does not need deciding. The seat, not jealous, offers its own edge to your other hand. With your eyes closed, the world becomes smaller and kinder. A cup in two hands, a chair pushed back from a table, a door that knows how to open silently. You let images come and go without calling any of them by name. Names are day things. Night recognizes faces without asking them to introduce themselves. A soft chime, the smallest yet, invites you to notice you are still here, that the train supports your weight, that the air arrives when asked. It is not a reminder, it is a comfort. Quiet bridge, someone whispers, and the rails obligingly hum the old lullaby in their lower register. Beneath, the river makes its wide sound, no longer water, more like breath made visible. You picture the surface smoothing itself for the night, and the picture smooths you. Past the bridge, the landscape flattens in a friendly way, like a bed made by someone who knows just how you like the corners. Lights appear more often now in the distance. Warm squares on house fronts, porch bulbs that pretend to be stars, street lamps keeping promises. Soft city, the conductor says, appearing like a kindly punctuation mark at the end of a quiet paragraph. Next and last, he looks at you in a way that means no need to move yet. He looks at the carriage in a way that means thank you. He looks at the night in a way that means see you tomorrow. You remain as you are a while longer. The train carries you as if carrying you were what it was made to do. It was. You might sleep. You might not. Both are permissible. The night train's only timetable is the moment you feel your jaw loosen and your thoughts lengthen and your shoulders admit that pillows are trustworthy. The city gathers gently, its lights practicing being stars, its streets already knowing the route to the station. The train dims its lamps to be polite. You are almost ready. Soft city is not big. It is the right size. Streets wear trees like scarves. Windows wear curtains that know how to move without anyone touching them. The station sits at the end of a long, even avenue and looks like a house that made itself larger to be sure everyone could fit. The sign over the entrance reads Platform of Pillows. The letters are stitched, not painted. Inside, long couches wait under slow fans. A clock on the far wall has hands that move only when you aren't looking. Above the ticket counter is a quilt hung like a flag, all squares and rectangles saved from shirts and aprons that clearly did kind work in their time. The train stops without stopping. You can only tell because stillness has shifted a shade deeper, like water when you rest your palm on it. Doors open. Air comes in that smells faintly of soap, linen, and the last pages of books. The conductor stands by the doorway with his hat in his hands. He does not announce. He simply is there, and his being there is announcement enough. Take your time, he says, which is a joke the night train likes to tell, and which never fails to be true. Passengers rise the way the sky turns. Gradually, quietly, with no need to prove anything. The grandmother folds her knitting even though it is already folded by the very nature of knitting. The boy wakes through a smile, the best kind of waking. The couple still holds hands and finds something in that saves them 1,000 sentences. You stand, or maybe you float, it is hard to say. The blanket settles on the bench and thanks you for your legs. You thank it for its weight. You step into the aisle that looks kindly toward the door and then at you, asking nothing. The carriage door opens and the station receives you the way a porch receives a rocking chair. The platform of pillows earns its name. There are heaps in corners, stacks on benches, towers against pillars, all with tags offering sizes. Nap, doze, sigh, surrender. You choose one without reading, guided by the same soft instinct that brought you here. The pillow you touch is cool at first and then learns your temperature and agrees to keep it. A desk clerk with sleeves rolled to the exact right length smiles and slides a small card toward you. It says room of quiet and curtain that understands. You do not need the room. The platform is room enough. But the idea that such a room exists makes the platform even kinder. Some travelers head for doors that certainly lead to bedrooms with windows that certainly face trees. Some do not move at all except to close their eyes. You sit on a couch that has seen nights like this and greets you by adjusting slightly to become more itself. From here you can see the train, patient, not eager to be gone. It will leave when you are fully arrived. That is the unspoken agreement between vehicles of night and people who are growing sleepy at the joints. The conductor appears one last time, and this time he removes his badge and offers it to the station's shadow, which takes it. He picks up a broom that leans near the door and gives the floor a ceremonial sweep. The sweep gathers nothing. It is for show, and the show is for you. And what it shows is that everything is in order and you can rest. He tips his cap. We will be here when you need to ride again, he says, meaning every evening, meaning any time, meaning this very breath. Good night. You lean back. The couch makes a shape you want to belong to, and then you do. The pillow steps closer to your head and becomes a landscape. 2 low hills for your ears, a small valley for the back of your skull. A plain where thoughts can graze until they forget to be thoughts and become simply standing animals watching weather. A slow fan folds the air and unfolds it, like laundry that wants to be warm for you. Across the hall a vestibule shows a framed timetable where every line reads when you're ready. You consider getting up to smile at it, then decide to smile from here instead. It reaches the timetable all the same. The city outside goes about its quiet business. A trolley bell far off that would like to be a distant star when it grows up. A baker's lamp that warms dough and promises to be kind to morning. A small fountain that practices being rain. Inside, scarves of coolness and warmth take turns across your cheeks. A porter offers water. You shake your head half a centimeter and they understand. They leave it anyway, because sometimes the hand is thirsty even when the mouth is not. Your fingers find the glass later and approve of the condensation. Your breath lengthens again. You count to 3 because 3 is a good number. You count to 5 because 5 is also a good number. Then you stop counting, and numbers don't mind. It is possible you sleep now. It is possible you do not. The difference is less than the width of a thread. The platform accepts both outcomes and thinks very well of you in either case. You remember a doorway from earlier in your life. You remember a chair that sits by a window. You remember the weight of a book half finished and half remembered. You remember nothing, which is also something, and often the best part. The train gives a soft sound, almost a bow, and then another, and then not again. You think of it leaving and arriving in the same moment. The way lids leave and arrive when they close. The way waves leave and arrive on a shore all night long without needing applause. The platform of pillows reclines a fraction. You recline with it. Your jaw decides it has done enough for the day. Your hands release invisible handles they have been gripping. Shoulders shift, hips agree, knees nod, ankles sigh. The pillow becomes shore. You become tide. You come in. You go out. You come in. A single sentence crosses the room without walking. You may rest now. And you do. And the night, pleased with its work, rests too. Good night.